What's up, everybody? It's Big John. I want to let everyone know if you are a comic book guy, that you probably collect toys as well, action figures, statues, so on and so forth. There's a big thing going on right now as far as like repairing your toys, your action figures. You need to be aware of a few things, like with vintage GI Joes. You want to be very, very careful. They're plastic, rubber, and vinyl, are a mixture of all that stuff, and some cloth like Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor's cape, so on and so forth. So you want to be careful if you're going to try to put them in a foot peg so they stand. If their feet are hard and you try to force it on that peg, you're going to blow out the back of their heels. So you got to be careful about doing that. Now, if you are going to replace the O-ring, I recommend using OEM parts for your GI Joes. They are available. They're kind of a pain to get, but you can get them. But instead of just replacing the O-ring, just do the whole thing. That way you know it's completely done and you won't have to worry about your figure in any time in the near future. So as you can see, I have a vintage Snake Eyes. This one is not complete. I do have one complete in the case. And he has already been fully done. All this Snake Eyes came with was his sword. So that's all I got with this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, his O-ring is really bad. I mean, it's not like so bad where he's like a weeble, but it is pretty bad. So what we're going to do is, I bought the Husky miniature screwdriver set from Home Depot, and it works the best. So all you want to do is just firmly grab him right below the hole, insert your screwdriver until you hear it, and then you might hear like a little snap where it's the screw tip is releasing the plastic. And once you get past that, and the other reason why I like this is because it's magnetic. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to show it to you. This is why I just recommend to go ahead and replace it, because that screw is garbage, completely rusted. It's not very good anymore. So that's why I recommend, if you're going to replace the O-ring, it is not that hard to do the rest. So now I do like a little hippie shake. Not very, there's no pressure at all when I did that. You just shake him and he comes right off. As you can see, the O-ring is worthless. You want to be careful when you pull this away not to break the crotch areas. Serpentor is really known to be brittle in that crotch area, and he will break on you. So this hook doesn't look that great. It's got a little bit of rust on it. I just don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove these other two screws, and we're going to go ahead and put in a new O-ring. But as you can see, that screw is like really badly rusted. And they're rusted on both sides. As you can see, they're just garbage. So we're going to go ahead and disassemble this Snake Eyes. Now, one thing with this rust, there is going to be some damage. This plastic is probably pretty brittle. So you want to be very careful. I'm trying to move my hand out of the way. You want to be very careful when you do this, because there's a hole on this side, and there's these little pins, plastic pins. They will break, okay, if they're brittle. I mean, they will snap right off and you're screwed. So you want to be very careful when you're doing this. When you hear that little snap, you know that screw is going to come out pretty easily. And just don't disassemble this if you don't have to. Okay, so now we're just going to remove this pin and we're going to chuck it. So now what you're going to need is 3 OEM screws. You're going to need an OEM leg, and you're going to need an OEM O-ring. That's all you need to repair this disassembled snake eyes. So now all we're going to do now is we're going to take the inner thigh and we're going to go ahead and do our hook here. And you just want to push it down gently until it snaps in place. And then you want to go ahead and do the other side until it snaps in place. Now it should be pretty easy. It's the inner thigh. So all you have to do is turn them. This can be a little tricky because it's just not a lot of room. But if you bend it just the right way, it will sit in there pretty good. So we've got Snake Eyes' new clip in there. And now we're going to go ahead and set the first one on here. I mean, I'm going to do one at a time. It's a little easier, or we can just get that out of the way. And I did the wrong side, which sometimes does happen. So now we're just going to gently put that on there. And then we're going to take our new screw. You know, when I always do these videos, it always seems that the screw goes in upside down. It never fails. So I'm going to wipe my tip of my screwdriver off. It's got rust on it. We don't want to transfer any of that mess. Then we're just going to gently, do not over tighten. So we're just going to push a little pressure here. Do not over tighten. So that's really good, nice and firm. And now we're going to go ahead and seat the other leg. It's been a while since I've had to do all of this, so you guys got me a little nervous. I'm going to gently put that in there. We do not want to snap those tabs because it'll basically ruin your figure. Well, that worked out good. I was going to go in upside down, it went off my finger. So now we've got 2 new OEM screws in his legs. His knees are still nice, flexible, but they're tight, so he'll be able to stand. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to prep his arms. I do it my way. This might not work for you guys. I don't like doing it like this. So I'm going to set his arms straight and his peg straight. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set his arms where they need to go. Then I'm going to grab his head, get it into place, and his upper body, get it into place. And then you're going to push the O-ring. You're going to clip it. And then you're just going to feed it up through there where you can see it. And then I just take my screwdriver and I just grab the O-ring. And of course, I'm on video, so it slipped on me. Go figure, right? Every time you try to do something and show, what happens? It screws up. So there. And then just gently pull up. You don't have to do it hard. Get it, seat the hip firmly on his legs. And there you go. Now we're going to take his back and we're going to feed it. Now, I push it down with my thumbnail, and you have to be careful because if you set it like this, sometimes it will snap back up on you. So, and it'll throw everything everywhere. So just be careful when you do that. And then I just like to set all of his pieces in the grooves. I'm going to seat his head. And then basically you want to make sure you get his head first, angle down, pull down a little bit on his waist, and he should snap right back together. And then we're going to take the last piece, which is the last screw, slide it in there, and we're going to go ahead and screw Snake Eyes back together. Do not over tighten. You do not want to strip his chest. Once you can't turn it no more, that's it. So you guys see his head firm back up, and then all you're going to do now is just make sure his shoulders are right, turn his arms, and now you have a completely restored. Let's see if we can get him to stand up by him, so I got to lean him a little forward. Well, he is on a pad, so now we have a completely fixed Snake Eyes. Now, this is where I get in trouble with people. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set him on his post. I don't move the foot. I put the peg in and then move the peg, the disc around. Now I'm going to leave him like this. He'll stand there by himself. Now I'm going to use a conditioner on my character. Now, you don't have to, I do. When you bought the G.I. Joes, they came naturally shiny. They weren't dull. What I'm using is a product by Meguiar's, and basically it's a restorer of plastic, vinyl, and rubber. When the oils and this stuff dissipates, it does not evaporate and go away. What it does is it absorbs into the plastic, the vinyl, or the rubber, and it adds the natural oils back into this plastic, rubber, or vinyl. So you just want to put some on a rag, and you want to get in every area of Snake Eyes and get him completely covered and clean. This is also a cleaner. So it's going to clean any dirt, any crap that's on it, and it's going to get it off. And you're going to see it's going to bring back a lot of his natural shine. But the shine will go back to completely normal in about 5 hours. You do not want to touch him for that long. You want this stuff to dry, and you want it to fully absorb into your figure. So I just grab him by his head once I've got him covered, and I'm just going to set him down. Whoa, he wants to fall on me. So there, to me, that, and I'm going to do his little sword too, because it's actually, so I'm just going to put it in the rag and just rub it a few times to get it coated. And then I'm going to set the sword down and let it dry. So there's his sword. There is your figure. And now you have a beautiful looking Snake Eyes who has been completely restored with OEM parts. Sorry about that. And I think that he will last a very, very, very long time. That's a little blurry, isn't it? I think he will last much longer. Now, if he goes back to being completely dull, where he doesn't have that good shine, that means that all those oils absorbed and it wants more. And you cannot hurt this figure. Okay, this stuff does not deteriorate your figure in any way. I have used it for a very, very long time, and none of my figures break apart. They don't snap anymore on their feet. Never had any problems. So there is a complete refurbished Snake Eyes using nothing but OEM screws, O-rings, and leg clips. For the Comic Book Underground, I'm Big John, and as usual, I'm out.